My name is Margaret Ann Windsor, and I was kidnapped from Buckingham Palace in 41 by Joseph Kennedy, who was ambassador appointed by Roosevelt. My own uncle, George the Sixth, illegal George the Sixth, helped in my kidnapping. Here he is, the year I was born in 39 with Roosevelt. And this is my father, the real King Edward VIII, and the double that was imposter used to marry Wallace Simpson. This was all done in plain sight and has been covered up all these years. 99 years seal put on it, and on my birth in 39, and I'm Victoria the Second, the real heir to the British crown. So here, Elizabeth, part of the New World Order that helped kidnap me, the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, the Jewish. It's been in power for a long time, really, Rothschilds. And my own uncle, her father, George, the illegal George VI, had to take down his own brother, who was married to Claudia O'Keeffe, sister to Georgia. Uh, so when you can cover up and do all that, you got a lot of power. Excuse me, this is little George. They named him after their great-grandfather, William's great-grandfather that helped kidnap me, take down Great Britain. So they're traitors. Um, I guess that would make him his great-great-grandfather, yeah, because Philip would be William's grandfather. So the baby, George, was named after his grandfather, great. I'd have to look it up. Anyway, you know where I'm going with it. They brought me to Moulton, Alabama, and gave me the name of a twin, Peggy Ann Dempsey, married to Childers. And here's where the twins I'm talking about, and I have to give you a little background so that someone can see where I'm coming from. So it becomes redundant, but then if someone's just tuning in or they're not really taking this serious, they don't bother putting it together. You need a database almost, and then you could come along with it. You put a certain things in database in there, and it'll come up when some of these things happen. Let me put this in real quick. When I was brought to Affordable Corporate Suites over in near Tanglewood Mall here in Roanoke County, I was brought there August 14th of '09, and that's when Carl Barton, a retired Virginia State Trooper, and his wife told me they were up at a Roanoke campground. He was supposed to be hosting. They were. And that night, my tent was soaked with fuel, and it looked good what they were doing. They brought me down in Affordable Corporate Suite and paid the deposit, $150, and I paid every penny of it, which it was I couldn't even eat, really, but my residents, or if you call it that, or non-residents, a tent in the on the Appalachian Trail is what's been going on, starving, walking. I can't walk anymore, but now then I'll lose you. What's going on with me is hell, but I've also been telling about mind control murders. Now then they brought me there, and here's what they said to me, his wife, Linda. She said, this is how we run you with chemicals. Well, I knew that. I've been soaked in them, and I'm allergic. I have an immune disorder, which right at the moment I am very sick because what's been happening to me was soaking me with chemicals and making me move has been going on since '86, and prior to that, they were used on me too. I just didn't know that I was allergic to chemicals and I have an immune disorder. So now then, this takes up half the tape trying to give background. I wrote a book about mind control. Larry McDonald, the congressman doctor whose plane went down August the 31st of '83. I was flown out to Larry Flint's, who was shot by a guy programmed to shoot him. When I was doing the book in Marietta, Georgia, he was shot. You could say he was lured because it was illegal how they got him there in Lawrenceville. But anyway, this is just where he did an endorsement of me, and I was in that campaign to replace a crook. Really, this is where the bad's made to look good and the good bad. I want to mention truck driver, because truck driver, if I can get this in here, 18-wheelers come in at this point again. It's like a collage. The patterns of these mind control murders, accidents, and all this, they can modify your behavior, your son's behavior. It's not even your child anymore. They're acting under commands, and they're programmed. And you don't know it, they don't know it, and how do you prove it? So these mind control murders have been done over a long span of time in patterns. I don't know, I thought that they would be told, but then you got to tell about me. Because you can't prove the patterns without telling about their like around me. It's, like I say, like a collage, a puzzle. Now then, before I lose anybody here, someone I grew up with, he was kidnapped too and brought there. That family where they dumped me off, and I'm losing here, but his name's Philip. I'm not going to go in who he worked for and all that, and I don't want to get him in trouble because he said years ago, that's where I was living in Moonraker, and I already knew this. He said, you know, they killed Duke Wayne, John Wayne. And if you go back and read it, it looks like he just died of natural cause. Well, that's why Warren and Rosina Matthews, the pathologist, forensic pathologists, were killed that worked for Larry McDonald's Hospital in Atlanta, Piedmont Hospital. And I wrote about them before I was shut down. I had antifreeze put in me April Fool's Day of 80, and a letter from the FBI June the 23rd of 79, and then across the state line when I should have died, stuck it there illegally, and I worked for Fred Simpson. Simpson as in Wallace Warfield, that was supposed to have married the King of England, my father, Edward VIII, which was a lie. All of it was a total lie about my dad and the hijacking of the monarchy. Now then, they're showing this here. This is in Montgomery County, and it's on TV, and it's the interstate near Christiansburg or Virginia Tech. Now it's a semi. It really sounds like it's pretty bad, and they've had quite a few. Just so don't let me lose you here. They're telling me about it here, and believe me, the channels, all the TV around here have known it since before '86 when I came here about the use of mind control. It's almost like this sick joke, you know. They'll tell you if you hear something, and here's another one. Here's one I wanted to get to right now. This is Preston Park Elementary. Shots fired in the elementary school. They're using the Preston as in Carl. Remember the Virginia state trooper that I've just mentioned that told me they run me with chemicals? Okay, Carl Preston was the name of the twin, Carl Preston Dempsey. And they've used the twins' names, too, in all these murders and doing them in patterns, like Peggy Ann and the Dempsey Childers, and they've used Philip, which also is like Philip married Elizabeth, who is illegal. So they put Philip down there 5 years after they kidnapped me, only he grows up and they got him. They chipped him. I can take you to the dentist that did it in about 1964. And I don't want to hurt Philip. Supposedly he's retired because he was a good kid and I never do anything to hurt him. They took care of it growing up so that they wouldn't hurt him. But anyway, Philip, as in Philip married Elizabeth and is illegal, but they've used those names. And also, if you want to go back to J.C. Dugard, and this is going out, so I haven't got any on here, that I'll have to do another tape here like I normally do, so here goes.